Hello, my friends. So today I have a special video for you guys. I just got the idea because I had so many people ask me about my trip to Mexico and the great things that we did, because it was such a great trip, but we had so many things go wrong, and it just seemed like every great thing we did had this like tragic story to go with it. So I thought, in case you guys are planning to go to Puerto Vallarta, it would be a good video to do from even packing, because I've made some mistakes even in packing. So I'm gonna go over it. I just want to show you guys. So I just unpacked, and these are the things I used while I was there, and these are the things I did not use that I packed. So as you can see, I wound up using a lot less clothes and things that I wound up packing. And so I just didn't want, hold on a sec, neighbors are yelling. Okay, I think they're done. So I wanted to go over just like do's and don'ts, and like things to pack, things that I didn't pack that I should have packed. Well, there's one thing that I could think of. If I think of any more, I'll let you know. But yeah, I just wanted to go over everything. That way, if you guys are planning a trip to a tropical area, this video can help you guys. I shared a little bit with you guys on my first video to Mexico what had happened. I was trying to stay positive in that moment, especially because I was traveling with my little sister too, and I was just trying to keep the vibe light-hearted, and so I was trying to not get too upset at what was going on. But the truth is that I will never fly Volaris again. They were so rude to us. After we missed our flight, they were trying to say that, or the lady that we were talking to at the counter was trying to say that the flight left out of the gate that the ticket said. And if I hadn't taken pictures of everything and not talked to more people, they were trying to charge us to change our flight. As it is, we lost the whole day. We had booked our Airbnb for that night, and we wound up having to come back home. And because we chose to fly out of TJ because it's so live so close to there here in San Diego, we had to cross the border back, come home, spend a few hours only to, and I didn't sleep that night. So it really was inconvenient. And on top of that, them wanting to charge us to change our flight when it was their fault. And they were non-apologetic. They definitely were behaving as if we had done something wrong when we had been there for 2 hours. So that's the first thing, is I will no longer, will never, it was my first time flying with them, and I won't be flying with them again. And so if you guys already have your tickets booked with them, I would definitely check the screens for any flight change, because the next day again there was a gate change, and I did not hear anything over the intercom announced. If we hadn't been paying attention because of what had happened the day before, we could have easily fallen into the same thing again. And then on the way back again, they changed the gate number. This time I did hear them announce it one time, but I don't think that that's sufficient, and I don't understand why they can't know what gate the flight is flying out of. Like, it's just an odd thing that I've never experienced. Anytime I've had any kind of change like that, it's announced over and over again. Also, before closing the doors, they usually call your name out. None of that was done, so it just seemed really unprofessional. And I usually only like talking about positive things, but this was enough to make me feel like I needed to warn people, because it was a really uncomfortable situation. So enough about that. That was right out of the gate. Get it? They changed those gate on us, and then from then on out, the next thing that had happened was we landed in Puerto Vallarta. I was so excited, And as we were getting ready to leave the airport, we needed to catch a taxi to our Airbnb, and a gentleman, super nice, approached us asking us if we were looking for a taxi, which we did need. So he's like, oh, come over this way, we could help you. Well, it wound up being that it was like a timeshare situation. That's just the name that I could remember. They call themselves something else, but it's the same idea as a timeshare. And normally I've done timeshares before, and I've done it a couple of times, and both times I said I would never do it again because it's just uncomfortable and they always wind up keeping you longer. But this gentleman like asked us what we were doing while we were there, and we had a list of things that we wanted to do, and he offered us like 3 things on our list at a discounted price or complimentary, including taking us to our Airbnb and also taking us back from our Airbnb to the airport. So it was like my sister and I kind of like looked at each other like, let's just do it. And he promised us that it would be an hour and 15 minutes of our time. So we're like, okay, fine, like we'll do this. And that way we could do these activities that we already wanted to do anyways. And it was more economical that way. And then a couple of the things were actually complimentary if we did it. So anyways, against my better judgment, I went. And this gentleman, the one from the airport, was so nice, and he was the one that picked us up to go to this breakfast at this place where you tour their property and they give you their whole spiel. They kept us there for 5 hours, like 5 hours of your vacation time. And of course, like at some point you're like, well, I've already been here this long, and they wouldn't give us our vouchers that we needed. And so then we probably should have left in the first hour, and then it wouldn't have felt so like where we had to. But that wasn't even the worst part of it. They actually were so rude to us. There was like 3 different gentlemen that came. I mean, and I say gentlemen, but they did not behave that way. They were just really rude to us, and were trying to make us feel like we were awful human beings for not wanting to buy their product. It was such an uncomfortable situation that after they gave us our vouchers that they had offered us, we were supposed to spend the day taking advantage of their beautiful resort, because it is a beautiful resort. It's just not what we wanted to do right now. And that's not how, they tell you, oh, there's no commitment, you just need to hear them out. But then when we got there, they were acting like we wasted their time, and how dare us do that. It was just really bad. The last person we talked to that finally like took us to get what they had offered us was better. However, in the end, he asked my little sister, or he asked her if she would be offended if he asked for her phone number, and like asked her like 4 times. Like, really, you would get offended? So it was not a good experience. The good thing is that they had a few resorts in the area, and one of them was closer to our Airbnb, and we could use that day pass at any of them. So we wound up doing, for it not to be a complete lost day, is going to the other resort, and we actually had a great day, and it's right in front of the beach, and we were able to use their lounge chairs, and they had a swimming pool and everything. We weren't really in the pool, we just wanted to stay at the beach all day, but there's so many vendors there. We wound up getting massages while we were, imagine getting a massage right in front of the ocean. And I got my braids done, as I don't know if you were able to see that, and we wound up having a great day. And then that night we went to a really nice restaurant. So the day was saved. However, if I were to do it again, I know that like I'm just gonna say no thank you to anybody trying to stop me at the airport. Like, yeah, that's the last time I'm gonna do that. It's not worth it when you're on vacation to take time out of your vacation that's already limited to, on top of that, feel uncomfortable and have people not treat you nicely. So anyways, that was the second mistake on what not to do. But then, you know, what to do, we could have just gotten a day pass. These resorts offer day passes, and they really do have beautiful vicinity. So I would have much rather paid for that and spent the day there if we wanted, even though there's other beautiful beaches as well. It was just nice having the accommodations that they had, having the showers afterwards. They had a Japanese toilet too, which is a whole experience of it in and of itself. And we ate there too. The food was okay. It wasn't my favorite meal we had, but it was just convenient. So that would be the to-do of that experience. And then next, so we went the following day to a tequila tasting. Great experience. I will definitely be doing that again. I learned so much about tequila, which was just fun. And I tried a bunch of different kinds of tequila. Didn't get tipsy from it. That he was giving us like special breathing exercises and like telling us not to hold it under our tongue, and that, you know, explaining how you get drunk from it, how you prevent that. And I don't know, we were listening to what he said, and both of us were actually pretty sober after trying. I mean, they were tiny little cups. I don't know if you saw that video. If you didn't, you should go back and see it. But yeah, it was a great experience, and it was at this beautiful place that has a river that runs through it. And so afterwards we went over to the river, and there's hammocks everywhere, and there's like beautiful altars everywhere. Just such a serene, beautiful vibe. And we ate there. The food was amazing and had a great day. That day, maybe, you know, I'm like, well, I wasn't feeling tipsy, but somehow I was so excited about the tequila that I wound up buying 2 liqueurs that have tequila in it, and then 1 tequila bottle. So 3 bottles of alcohol from this place. And I had all this in my suitcase, which is another reason why I shouldn't have overpacked so much, because now I didn't know how I was going to get it home. Like, I had my little sister, she had, so this is the bag that I traveled with. She traveled with the smaller rolly, like the ones that you could take on the plane. So she bought 2 bottles. I bought 3 bottles, and I was like, at the time, like, oh, we'll see, we'll figure it out. You could see where that's going. So second do not do is don't get excited about heavy things if you don't have the space to take them back with you, or if you're not willing to like buy another suitcase or carry on. Well, you can't take the liquid on carry on, but to put some of your things that are non-liquid in a carry-on to take, or figure it out. Like, that's the thing I'm gonna say, do not do. And then that night we went back home, and of course we were staying, well, living, yeah, in this, I love the Airbnb. It was in a total like neighborhood with like, it just felt like I lived there. But the street we lived on was the steepest street I've ever seen in my whole life. And we have steep streets like in Ecuador, and I've seen steep streets like, you know, San Francisco. This was like the cars would kind of start to slide back. It was so steep. Walking up that steep hill with 3 bottles of tequila, not fun. I mean, I got a good workout, I guess, but man, by the time I got up there, I was like breathing heavy. So that was another thing. So we got back, showered and relaxed a little bit, and then went out that night. And in my fun, I wound up having 2 more margaritas on top of what I had that day. I really wasn't thinking about it because I never really felt tipsy. So I had 2 margaritas. The second margarita was a large though, and it was like the size of my face. Like, I should know better at my age, but I usually don't get hungover. I usually do okay. I was feeling tipsy at that point, and it was like midnight when we were like, okay, let's head back. We have to wake up early tomorrow. I was feeling it, but when I went to sleep that night, I was fine. I wake up that morning so sick and so hungover. I woke up at like 5 a.m. and got sick, and then went back to sleep, woke up at 6 a.m., got sick again. At that point, I showered, and by the time I showered and laid down, the alarm went off. And that day, we had planned the thing I was the most excited to do. So now it became this dilemma on, do we go or do we not go? And as we're trying to see if we can even change it for the next day, I got sick again. At which point my sister's like, we shouldn't go. But after that, I felt like everything that was in my stomach that was messing it up was gone. And all of a sudden I had this moment where I felt okay. So I was like, no, let's just go. Let's go. Let's do it. And so we did. And then I'm making this really short because I know this video is already going to be plenty long. But to make a long story short, once we board the ship, or the boat, it was a big boat with lots of people. It was a 2-decker boat. I was already feeling sick, and then the boat starts to break down. So we're sitting idle in the middle of the water with the waves, and I got so seasick. On top of the fact that I was already feeling sick, I've never felt that bad in my life. And my sister at that point starts getting seasick as well. So you had my sister in the back of the boat getting sick in a bag. I sat next to her for a while, and then I came to the front of the boat and laid down and closed my eyes, and I couldn't wait for it to be over. And it was a whole day thing. There was like snorkeling going on, there were tours going on, there were all these events that they had little speedboats that would dock next to the big boat, and whoever wanted to do that, you'd put your life jacket on, get on the boat, and it would take you out to these activities. I couldn't eat. I was so weak. I had nothing in my stomach, and I couldn't do any of the activities. The main thing that I wanted to do was going to this Marietta Island, which was amazing. And as you'll see, by the time you see this video, I will have already posted that video. It was amazing and so worth it. So I'm not gonna say that it wasn't worth it to go, because that was the only thing that we were able to do. And we actually, I feel like getting off of the boat and swimming in the water somehow did us good, because we were feeling so much better on the boat. But as soon as we got, or off the boat, sorry, as soon as we got back on the boat after the excursion, we went to 2 different beaches. It was like 30 minutes later, I felt sick all over again, and the boat kept breaking down the whole way back. We were supposed to be back at 5 p.m. We were back at 8 p.m. So it was so hard. It was like worth it, but it was hard. The thing I'm gonna say don't do is, if you're gonna be on a boat, don't drink the day before, is what I'm gonna say. Like, just lesson learned. I don't usually get sick, and I didn't, I didn't take into consideration the fact that I had done the tasting all day, and I think that made a difference. But then also maybe like find out the history on the boat that you're gonna be on, because I think even if I hadn't gotten sick from that, I think just like my sister, she wound up getting so seasick. And at one point when I sat up from laying down, I was so embarrassed to lay on I used my life jacket as a pillow because I had nothing to lay on, and I just laid on the floor of the boat. But when I sat up, there were like 5 more people laying down. So we definitely weren't the only ones. There were a lot of people getting seasick from being on like the choppy waves. It was rough, and we weren't the only ones. So that's gonna be anytime I'm gonna get on a boat, I'm not gonna just trust that it's gonna be good. I think I'm gonna ask a few more questions in the future. So I definitely recommend doing this however you could get to this island, because you can't just go on your own. You have to do it in some sort of a tour. But yeah, I would just find out the history behind it. So hold on, I think somebody's home. Okay, so that's pretty much all my don'ts as far as things to do. All of my, I did love the Tequila Tour. I usually don't do tours. I like to explore on my own, but it was the most economical and best way to get to that part of town. It was kind of far from where we were at, and so I'm really glad that we did it. And actually the tour guide had a lot of interesting facts to tell us along the way, and we stopped in a few places. That's when the day that I got to hold the iguana. I don't know if you guys saw my picture with the iguana. Like, there were a lot of fun things that came from that tour, so I'm really glad that I did that. I would have wanted to stay there longer, so now that I know where it's at, I think in the future I would go and just spend a whole day there, because it's just so beautiful. And we were supposed to do some sort of ceremony, and that just didn't happen. And I was so distracted and entertained that I forgot to even ask, like, what about the ceremony that they were supposed to have? We were supposed to get a memento and make some sort of wish. We didn't get to do that. So if I go back, I'll definitely go and just plan a whole day there, even though it's small. So maybe not a whole day, maybe half a day there, but I would have wanted to stay on the hammocks and over the river a little bit longer than we were able to stay. So, which is usually the thing I don't like about the tours, is that you're on their time. But I do recommend doing that. The island, Vallarta Island, is just, it's a paradise. It is something like once in a lifetime chance. If you have the opportunity to see it, it is something spectacular, and I'm surprised that more people don't talk about it. I had never heard about it. It was actually our Uber driver on the way to the border that told us about this. He actually coincidentally was from Puerto Vallarta and gave us all these tips, and that was one of them. So I highly recommend doing that, but no drinking before. So I think that is everything. Which brings me to my packing. It was so hot there the whole time. Even when it was raining, the rain felt good. At one point, I didn't get any videos of it, but my sister and I were just running through the rain. It was a matter of minutes because it came down so hard that the roads flooded like this much. And luckily, I was wearing these guys. I was wearing my Tivas, and so I could just run through the rain in these, and they weren't gonna get ruined. And it was fun, it was refreshing, because it was so hot that the rain actually felt good. And it doesn't make, like, the town was still alive through the rain. It was something pretty cool that I hadn't experienced before. But because it was so hot, some of the things, and the roads too, it was really hot, and the roads, they're cobblestone. And so it takes a little bit of getting used to, and I would not have wanted to wear heels even walking out of our place. There was no way. We had to walk down that steep hill to catch a taxi every day. So I had taken these booties, and I had taken my Chloe sandals that I would have not wanted to ruin these at all. So I didn't wear them one time. Yeah, there was so much clothes. Let me show you guys again. There were so many things that I did not use. If I would have known really how hot it would have been, I brought sweaters. I always get cold on the plane, so I had worn just a light denim jacket on the plane, and I did need it on the way there and on the way back, but that's really all I needed. I brought 2 sweaters. I brought 2 pairs of jeans just in case. Shoe-wise, I could have gotten away with just wearing these. I wore these even with like my nice shorts and stuff, which I normally never would have done, but it didn't look terrible. I don't know if I was just like comfort over fashion, which usually isn't the case. But I mean, the other option would be to either ruin a pair of shoes or twist my ankle. So I wore these every single day, except for one night when we went out, I wore these, which I could have gotten away with just wearing the ones I had, but I didn't even need to bring these. But these have a little bit of grip to them, so if I wanted to change it up a little bit, I could have brought those two. And then on the plane, in case you have to take off your shoes and stuff, I just don't like to be barefoot, so I like to wear shoes with socks when I'm traveling. So I wore my sneakers. I literally only wore my sneakers to go there and to leave. So if I was trying to be like a light packer, I honestly could have gotten away with just having these two shoes and that's it, and calling it a day. And then as far as hot tools go, my sister took that, like the Revlon blow dry brush, and so we were gonna share that. And then I took my curling iron and we were gonna share that. It didn't happen. I did not style my hair a single time. I just let it be free and wait. It was so humid, it would have been pointless. So that was two more things that I could have just left behind. Also, I had packed like 3 swimsuits, but some of the swimsuits that I packed were like, I love this swimsuit. It's like a one shoulder situation. This is really hard to wear underneath other clothes because of its like awkward shape, and it has really thick straps, and the bottoms kind of do too. They have these. And so I wound up, I just took one swimsuit that had like more skinny, this crocheted, it has this skinny straps, and then the bottoms are pretty, like, there's nothing hanging out of them, so they're easy to wear underneath a dress. They don't give you a weird shape. So I wound up just using this swimsuit every single day. And so I brought 3 swimsuits in vain because I just wound up using this one. So either I wish I would have had a couple of swimsuits just to change it up, but next time I'm gonna keep that in mind, that if I'm not coming back home to change, if I'm just taking a bra and underwear in my purse, then I need to have more swimsuits that are just like simple and that sit flat so that I can wear them under anything. So that was the next thing. My hat, I took this hat and I should have worn it. So this, I'm not gonna say I shouldn't have taken. I forgot to wear it and I got pretty sunburned, so that's not great. So take a hat, but remember to wear it. The one thing that I did not take that I should have taken is good bug repellent. My legs, if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen the picture that I posted. I got destroyed. If I wasn't wearing tighter jeans, I would show you guys. Both of my legs still are recovering from it. They're just destroyed from the mosquito bites, and that happened the day that we went to the tequila tasting. So, you know, anytime you're by water, and this was like a river, it was just, and my sister was pretty bitten up too. I think mine was worse, but bug repellent, and good bug repellent, because even though I like buying clean bug repellents, they just don't seem to work for me. So take good bug repellent. The other thing that I took, and that I'm so glad I took, is my pillow. The airplane on top of bad customer service and I'm tiny, I'm 5'2", I'm not tall at all. I can always curl up in a ball and sleep. This was an especially uncomfortable plane, so I'm really glad that I had my pillow so I could get some rest. Also, I did good with the purses. Usually I take a few purses. I only took this purse with me. It's turning out to be my tried and true. It's such a great travel purse because it has this little front pocket that I could just put my passport card in, my ID, anything that I need while I'm traveling, and I put my ticket in here. And then, you know, just it's very deceiving because it's this little lightweight purse, but it actually fits a lot. So I really love this purse, and it was the only one I took, and I wound up buying one there that I brought back that I've been using. So and then so I had this big bag for my toiletries, and inside this bag I had this bag with my skincare and hair care, and then I had this bag with my makeup. I have taken out the things that I used while I was there, and I left in here the things that I did not use, because it was the same thing. I always try to plan for a few different looks in case we go out and I want to get fancy with my makeup. It was so hot that I didn't even use, I think I used mascara one day, but I didn't even use mascara while I was there. So I know some people like waterproof mascara. I just, at that point, I like to just curl my lashes and maybe wet them with water, even though that sounds funny, and call it a day. And that's what I did most days that we were there, because I was in and out of water. So there was no point. So as far as makeup goes, I used, which I shared with you guys in a previous video, my Charlotte Tilbury. It's just such a nice lightweight. It wore really beautifully the whole day. I might do a video about all of the things that I used down the line, but I'll just share quickly. This foundation, I used my Jane Iredale pressed powder, and on one occasion, I think the first day we got there, I used my Givenchy like corrective color loose powder, but I could have gotten away with just leaving this. I just wanted to be honest that I did use this one time. I didn't need to take this. I think I got so excited that I had just purchased this before my trip that I took it, but I really didn't need it. I did use my mirror and tweezers a couple of times. I wound up having some hair fuzz, and then I took this really pretty, it's called Butterfly blush, but I wound up using this blush as eyeshadow as well. So I had an eyeshadow palette that I had taken. I didn't use it. I just used this Benefit Butterfly. Love it. I have this little nude sticks kit. It's a collab that they did with Alana Davidson. She's super cute. If you don't follow her, she does great makeup content. And she did a collab with nude sticks, and I absolutely love this trio. It has the little bronzer stick, an orangey blush, and then the highlight. So really, I was using these on my cheeks and on my eyelids, and I could have used it even on my lip. I was using something different, but I could have, excuse me, but I could have used it on my lip. And then I had this little Marc Jacobs glitter like eyeshadow thing that I would put just on my eyelid, on right above my eyelashes, and that was all I was using on my face. I took so many things I did not need. I did take my little setting spray, but this is tiny. Oops. But this is tiny, so this is just really refreshing. I highly recommend taking a setting spray. This is the Glam Glow. And then I just recently discovered lip oils. I know I'm late to the game. This is a Lady Gaga one. I absolutely love. It's such a pretty color. I wore it every single day, and that's it. So there's that's what I used, and I'll show you. I'm not even gonna go over everything that's in here, but there's a lot in here. It goes in pretty deep. I mean, here's a whole eyeshadow palette that was in there. My little blush, like the lipsticks. There were other eyeshadow, like the one that I did use. My mascara, well, I used it one time. I took my brow gel. There were so many things I took. That's just on one side of this makeup bag. That's just this side. And then on the other side, there was a whole other concealer situation, another foundation. Here's a hair mask, and then eyeliner, lip gloss. Didn't use any of it. So definitely overpacked even that. And then my body products and hair products, I took my shampoo and conditioner. They were almost empty, so it's more like the space they took up, but they're pretty light. They were almost done anyways, so I just took them. And then I had these little travel size hair, like it's a serum, conditioner, leave-in conditioner, and then this Bumble blonde spray for so that my hair doesn't get brassy. I did use those every single day. And then sunscreen, I took my little body sunscreen, which I used every day, and my super goop on my face. Here's another thing, moisturizers. I just took this fresh rose travel size. It was enough moisture. And then I had my under eye cream as well, like just a little travel size. And that was it. That was all I used. And I took so many other things. Up here are all the things I did not use that I had packed. And then I had my deodorant that obviously I use. I packed my little toothpaste. Q-tips were used. I took a little perfume, which I used, and my body lotion, my full body. I just took the whole thing. But then there was a whole bunch of other things in here that I did not use that I packed. I even packed a hair detoxifier. I just didn't have time to do, I think, a face mask, a hair mask. There were just like, oh, I took these, I love these Hum Nutrition, like they're like a rose lemonade that you put in your water and it has collagen for your skin. I didn't do any of these things. So I had all of these products that I did not need to take. All of those I did not use. So also to share with you guys, I had taken my camera, which there was just like my sister and I, everything we were doing, we would have had to leave it at the beach, or there was nobody to watch it for me. So therefore I recorded everything on my phone for you guys. So unless I have somebody that's gonna hang back always, I wouldn't bring a camera unless you're gonna not go in the water, you know, or neither one of us were willing to give up the experience of it to watch our things. So I just left it in. Also, I took my Polaroid with a whole box of film. I did not take a single Polaroid, and that was just because I forgot. But yeah, I just, it still would have been the same thing where I couldn't have taken it really anywhere. We would have had to go a day specifically to take pictures, but we were taking pictures of our experiences. So, and we didn't have enough days there to spend a whole day just for photos. So I shouldn't have taken that. Another thing, the day that we got stuck in the airport that we did not fly out and we just came straight home, I think I shared with you guys that my sister and I got some new sunglasses, and so I was excited to take them on the trip. I'll share them with you so you guys could tell me what you think. So these are them. I'm obsessed. What do you guys think? Do you like them? Anyways, these are the sunglasses I got, and so since we were going to a sunny place, I was like, perfect, I'll take them. But then when we got there, I realized it's really, A, it's not safe to walk around wearing expensive sunglasses, and B, they charge you more based on, like, if we would speak in English, my sister and I both speak Spanish, so the whole time we were there, we were just speaking Spanish, because we were told numerous times by friends that we made there that if they hear us speaking English, we're going to be charged more. Now, I know you guys can't really help that. If you don't speak Spanish, then it is what it is, but then they realize that you're a tourist and they charge you more for things. And so since we do speak Spanish and we have that benefit, I was like, not gonna, on top of that, then walk around with expensive sunglasses, because they pay attention to all of that. So I took them, and I should have just left them home since I wound up coming home anyways. So I just wouldn't take anything that's like, if you're going and you're planning on doing a lot of like fun, adventurous, like hiking and like in the water and things like that, then unless you don't mind your like higher end items getting ruined, I would just leave those at home. I took my Ray-Bans and those are nice enough, but they're still like, I wouldn't be as heartbroken if they got scratched up as compared to like these brand new Prada sunglasses. Had I known, I probably would have taken even less expensive sunglasses that I do have. I just love my Ray-Bans and they were the ones that I had in my purse, and so I took those. Which brings me to accessories. I love jewelry. I think a lot of you guys already know that. I love jewelry, and accessories. Like I love belts, I love purses, I love hair ties, hair bands. So this is always my little jewelry bag, and I keep my hair ties and my jewelry. There's like this zipper, it has this zipper, and I just always pack my jewelry and hair accessories in here. I did not open it one time while I was there. We were always getting back home, and I was so tired that I would just shower and go to sleep, and in the morning we wake up with just enough time to get ready and head out the door. And so I used this hair tie, the makeup I just shared with you guys, and if you look at my videos you could see the jewelry. I do talk about that. I bought this ring while I was there, so it was the only thing I swapped out from the rings that I was using, but I just used the same exact jewelry that I would take off before going to bed. I'd put it in my little night table, and then in the morning I'd get dressed and put the same exact things back on. I didn't change my jewelry. So, you know, maybe in the future I will pack some again, but definitely not as much. This thing is heavy. I won't even, it'll take me too long to show you everything that is in here. I'm a little embarrassed because I took a lot of jewelry thinking I'm gonna wear it all, and I did not. So that's a definite, like, you don't really need a lot of accessories. If you do enjoy them, maybe plan them out with your outfits. Where I went wrong is I usually pack my clothes a couple days before. I usually try on outfits, pick out depending on how many days I'm going to be there, you know, and I'll do a couple extras just in case, and I usually pack like a workout outfit just in case. But I didn't pack till the night before I was flying out, and that's when I tend to overpack. And so I just packed a bunch of accessories to go with a bunch of clothes that weren't really put together. So I really recommend putting outfits together, finding accessories that go with as much of the outfit so you don't have to take a bunch of different things, because at the end it just wound up weighing me down. I wound up using like this smaller pile. This is what I used while I was there. It's just so much smaller than what I did not use. And so, lesson learned, the day that we were leaving, we wound up having to throw a bunch of my clothes into my little sister's suitcase, and we put all the alcohol in the suitcase that I was checking in. And when we got there, I mean, I already told you about the customer service there. They gave us such a hard time. They had asked my sister if she wanted to check in her suitcase without any charge. So she's like, okay, sure. And as soon as they weighed it, then they wound up charging her, which didn't make any sense. But they were having us like switch things to my backpack. I had this extra bag that I always travel with, and it was this huge ordeal. At the end, they wound up charging her anyways, and also didn't take the suitcase. She still wound up taking it on the plane with her. But it just made no sense. But I already went over not being a fan of the airline, so we won't get back into that. But yeah, all in all, there's more things that I could share with you, but I think this video is long enough. You guys get the picture. I think that next time I need to stick with planning my outfits ahead of time, packing them a couple of days before, and having all my accessories that go with that, and really thinking a little more minimally, because I still felt cute while I was there. It was, you know, there wasn't a single day that I was like, I hate what I'm wearing. So yeah, those are my do's and don'ts for Puerto Vallarta. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys all. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.